Good morning, Saturday morning. I hope you guys are all starting your weekend off with a little bit of fun, maybe a workout, maybe you've hit your macros for Saturday morning breakfast. I get questions almost every day, and recently from my good friend Donna from Albany CrossFit about what's the difference between zone and macros? What's the difference between the zone diet and the flexible eating lifestyle? And I want to answer that for you. And before I do that, shout out to my good friend Howie and Jen. I got them started with their macronutrients. I've known them since college, circa 1996. Howie and I were in the same pledge class of the same fraternity, Teak, represent any of you Teaks out there, and took care of them with their nutrition. Jen's recently had 2 children. Best she's ever felt, best she's ever looked. Even Howie is on board, so I'm so proud of them, and thank you so much. This is a custom t-shirt, super funny if you can read it and you were in the Albany area when we were in college, and if you were, you probably didn't like me. So, zone versus macros, let me dive into it. The zone diet is based on a block system. Dr. Barry Sears created it. I'm not gonna dive into the science behind it and all that, but what you need to know is it's a way of weighing and measuring no different than macros. They're both weighing and measuring. They're both bringing some accuracy to the amount of food you're eating. The difference is with the zone and your block system, you're eating in such a way that there's a ratio of 40-30-30, 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat throughout your day, throughout every meal. Obviously, with flexible eating, we know that that's not necessary to be doing it well, to be doing it the way we intend to do it, meaning you can have your carbs randomly sprinkled throughout the day, you can have more fat at breakfast, more protein at lunch, or if you choose to, you can disperse those equally throughout the day, no different than their zone. Here's what I'll tell you. I've done both, obviously, and the zone works. Macros work. I find for the long haul, to create a lifestyle, to create something I can do sustainably forever, flexible eating worked better for me. On the road, not having to be that weirdo at parties, weighing and measuring my food or bringing Tupperware, and able to enjoy life a little bit more. What I will tell you is nice about the zone is it helps you understand balance on your meals. You know, you have hormonal response every time you eat, insulin, glucagon, etc. And they all come from different macronutrients. Carbohydrates, insulin, protein, glucagon, fat's a little more neutral. What the zone does well is help control that hormonal response. The goal of the zone is you're balancing that insulin and glucagon, where for flexible eating, that might not be the case. That might not be the case. Yes, if you eat all of your carbs in one sitting, you may spike your insulin. Obviously, every individual is a little bit differently. Do I think there are best practices that we should strive for while chasing our macros? Absolutely. Do I think that the zone is the best way to eat for the rest of your life? No, but do I think there's knowledge to be gained from it? Absolutely. I do think ideally, in an ideal situation, if you say, Jay, how can I be the healthiest internally, externally, etc., mentally, while flexible eating, it would probably be by bringing some sort of balance and ratio to your meals. So you can do that consistently. You can do that for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. You can do that 3 out of 7 days a week. You can even do that 6 out of 7 days a week with flexible eating. But now you know there is the opportunity to still save some of those carbs, to still have those meals where you're eating more carbs and fat than protein. We can save up throughout the day. Where in the zone, it's harder to do. At the end of the day, they're both different forms of weighing and measuring, but flexible eating is just that. It's more flexible. So I hope that answers your question. If you have more questions on that, obviously there's some great books out there that you can read about the zone. Obviously my book is coming out shortly, and we'll talk a lot more about this. But of course, hit me with some questions under this video if you have them. Give them both a try if you want, but I think you'll find long-term, for sustainability, flexible eating is right for you.